Taiwan agencies receive bomb threats over June the 4th memorials. Top student loses med school offers after falsifying academic portfolio. Local leaders protest 25% grant cut at executive Yuan. Trump vows to double tariffs on steel and aluminum imports to 50%. Musk calls Trump's tax bill a disgusting abomination. Mongolia's prime minister resigns. Greenpeace steals Macron wax figure for anti-Moscow protest. Caribbean drowning in record seaweed invasion.
Hello, I'm Wade Lee. Thank you for joining us on Funday News. It is Thursday, June 5th, World Environment Day, and here are your top stories. And for today's Taiwan's news, 8 government agencies in Taiwan, including the Presidential Office and Executive Yuan, received online bombs and shooting threats over June 4th memorial events. The emails, signed with the names like Xiao Meiqi and William Lai, threatened attacks on participants. The sender's IP traced to the U.S., but police suspect a proxy. A top Taiwanese student admitted falsifying his academic portfolio after posting medical school offers on threads. He lost admissions to NYCU and TMU after netizens found no record of a major debate award he acclaimed. The student scored 74 on the National College Entrance Exam and was accepted by 5 medical schools. He later apologized and sent a letter of explanation to NYCU's School of Medicine. 9 local leaders protested at the Executive Yuan over a 25% cut to general grants, calling it unfair. The Legislative Yuan cut 63.6 billion NT dollars from the central budget, sparking tensions with local governments. Premier Chu Zhongtai told media, "We're following the rules," then left. Lawmakers reviewed a proposal urging full funding for local governments. And in global news, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an order doubling tariffs on steel and aluminum imports from 25% to 50%. The move increased import taxes on the metals, key inputs in everything from car to canned foods, for the second time since March. Trump has said the measures, which take effect on Wednesday, are intended to secure the future of the American steel industry.
We're going to bring it from 25% to 50%, the tariffs on steel into the United States of America, which will even further secure the steel industry in the United States. Nobody's going to get around that.
However, critics say the protections could wreak havoc on steel producers outside the U.S., spark retaliation from trade partners, and come at a punishing cost for American users of the metals. Hours before he raised the duties, many firms directly affected could scarcely believe the plan was moving forward, hoping it would turn out to be temporary or some kind of negotiating ploy. Even as Trump pushed the deal forward, the UK was exempted from the new tariffs, keeping its steel and aluminum duties at 25%, a move he said reflected ongoing trade talks with the U.S. The U.S. is the biggest importer of steel in the world after the European Union, getting most of the metal from Canada, Brazil, Mexico, and South Korea.
Elon Musk has hit out at President Donald Trump's signature tax and spending bill, describing it as a disgusting abomination in a widening rift between the two allies. The budget, which include multi-trillion-dollar tax breaks and increased defense spending while also allowing the U.S. government to borrow more money, was passed by the House of Representatives last month. Musk said in a post about the legislative linchpin of Trump's second-term agenda, "Shame on those who voted for it."
I was disappointed to see the massive spending bill, frankly, which increases the budget deficit, not just decrease it, and undermines the work that the Doge team is doing.
The tech billionaire left the administration abruptly last week, after 129 days working to cut costs with his team, known as Doge. The comments mark his first public disagreement with Trump since leaving the government, after previously calling the plan disappointing. The tech billionaire's time in the Trump administration came to an end on May the 31st, although Trump said that he will always be with us, helping all the way. In its current form, the bill, which Trump refers to as the Big Beautiful Bill, is estimated to increase the budget deficit, the difference between what the government spends and the revenue it receives, by about $600 billion in the next fiscal year.
Mongolia's prime minister resigned early Tuesday after failing to receive enough support in a vote of confidence in parliament, the country's embassy in Washington confirmed. Prime Minister Oyer Erden received 44 votes, well short of the 64 needed. The votes followed weeks of protests sparked by reports of lavish spending by the prime minister's son, with some calling for the prime minister to step down. Before the vote, he warned that it could lead to instability and shake Mongolia's fledgling democracy.
He said, if governance becomes unstable, the economic situation deteriorates, and political parties cannot come to a consensus, could lead the public to lose faith in parliamentary rule, and potentially put our democratic parliamentary system at risk of collapse. He defended his integrity but acknowledged a mistake, dedicating too much time to major projects, while paying insufficient attention to social and internal political matters. Oyer Erden had held the post for 4 years and had survived previous calls to step down. Last year, Parliament was enlarged from 76 seats to 126 following electoral reforms, resulting in a coalition government.
Environmental activists stole a waxwork of President Emmanuel Macron to protest France's business ties with Russia and climate change. Greenpeace France said they had borrowed the model from the Grevin Museum to highlight gas, chemical fertilizer, and nuclear power contracts between the two countries, which financed the war in Ukraine. A team of about 6 people entered the museum with tickets, and as one of them distracted a receptionist, the others carried the figure out through an emergency exit.
No arrests have been made, and the €40,000 waxwork has not yet been recovered. Macron, along with fellow European leaders like UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer and German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, has been leading efforts to broker a ceasefire in the war between Russia and Ukraine. According to the Center for Research on Energy and Clean Air, CRE, an independent research organization focused on air pollution, France, along with Belgium and Spain, is among the main importers of liquefied natural gas from Russia. Russia has made more than €883 billion in revenue from fossil fuel exports since it invaded Ukraine in 2022, of which France contributed €17.9 billion.
According to a new report, a record amount of sargassum piled up across the Caribbean and nearby areas in May, and more is expected this month. The brown, prickly algae is suffocating shorelines from Puerto Rico to Guyana and beyond, disrupting tourism, killing wildlife, and even releasing toxic gases that forced one school on the French Caribbean islands of Martinique to temporarily close. The amount, 38 million metric ton, is the largest quantity of algae ever observed across the Caribbean Sea.
The sargassum is a very bad thing for fishermen. You can't fish properly because everything comes out full of sargassum, which is very strong. The sargassum reaches the shores. Throwing the nets also doesn't work. The fishermen that fish with nets get full of sargassum, and this is a problem because the fish leave the area.
Scientists began studying the Great Atlantic Sargassum Belt in 2011. Brian Barnes, an assistant research professor at the University of South Florida, provided this information. The previous record was set in June 2022, with some 22 million metric tons. 3 different types of sargassum exist in the Caribbean and nearby areas, reproducing asexually as they remain afloat thanks to tiny air sacs. They thrive in different ways depending on sunlight, nutrients, and water temperature, factors that scientists are currently studying. Experts have also said that agricultural runoff, warming waters, and changes in wind, currents, and rain could have an effect.
The answer for yesterday was B, disillusionment. After the scandal, many supporters felt a deep sense of disillusionment. Did you answer correctly? Now let's delve into today's news. Trump vows to double tariffs on steel and aluminum imports to 50%. Number 1, ploy, 策略花招. The free trial is just a marketing ploy to get people to subscribe. Number 2, ongoing, 持续进行中的. The investigation is still ongoing and no one has been charged yet. Number 3, retaliation, 报复,回击. The workers went on strike in retaliation for unfair treatment. Next, we have a multiple choice question for everyone to practice. Which answer would you choose? You can write your answer in the comments section. The correct answer will be announced tomorrow. World Environment Day is an important example of how people should care for the environment, raising awareness of increasing levels of pollution, human overpopulation, and climate change. The holiday was established in 1972 by the United Nations General Assembly. Inspired to help create change in the world, the first celebration of the holiday occurred 2 years later and became a huge success. And that's all for today's Funday news. Be sure to tune into Funday news from Monday to Friday and click the link below to join Funday for free. I'm Wade Lee, your host. I'll see you next time.